we'll be looking at surd. And when we talk about surd, we are talking about the root of rational numbers that cannot be expressed as exact fraction. Okay, we cannot express them as what? As exact fraction. So examples of surds are what? Square root of what? 2, square root of what? 3, square root of 5, and so on. Okay, so these numbers cannot be expressed as exact fractions. Okay, so we have rules for operations under surd. So we have the rules of what? Rules of surd. So for you to perform any operation under surd in mathematics, you must follow this rule. And the first one is that when you have the square root of PQ, that this is the same thing as the square root of P times the square root of what? Q. Okay, so for instance, if you have the square root of 12, that this is something as what? The square root of what? 3 times what? Times the square root of what? 4. Okay, so the second one is that if you have the square root, the root of P over Q, that this is the same thing as the root of P over what? The root of Q. Okay, so for instance, if you have the root of 3 over 5, that this is the same thing as what? The root of 3 over what? The root of 5. Okay, so the third one is that if you have something like the root of P plus Q, that this is not the same thing as what? Is not the same thing as the root of P plus the root of what? Q. Okay, now for instance, if you have the root of 3 plus 5, that this is not the same thing as what? As the square root of what? 3 plus the root of what? 5. Okay, so the next one, which is the last rule that we have here, is with that if you have something like P minus Q, okay, that this is not the same thing as what? As the root of P minus the root of what? Q. For instance, if you have the root of 5 minus 3, that this is not the same thing as what? Is not the same thing as the root of 5 minus the root of what? 3. Okay, so these are the basic rules of surd that we have in mathematics. So then our next topic will be on basic form of surd. We'll be looking at basic form of surd, basic forms of surd. After that, we'll look at similar surd. After that, we'll look at similar surds. And after that, we'll look at conjugate surd. So all this will come under a single video. Okay, so in our next class, we'll be talking about all this together, and after that, we'll proceed. Okay, so thank you very much. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and share this video.